Take off my mask and be real. So, let's see here. Let's talk about this little picture that I put here. I think my thing came out here. Hold on. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. There's a little picture there underneath. But take off my mask and be real. That is what we're going to talk about today. Okay? So I wanted to show you this little picture from my childhood. I don't know if you realize this, but this is actually a real picture of my real childhood. So the little guy in the astronaut suit in the front, that is me. And I will show you that I was the youngest of four. So this is my oldest sister, my brother, and my next sister, and then me. So we're going to talk about this whole tradition of Samhain. Samhain is the root cause, the pagan tradition that Halloween came from. And I thought it was fascinating to talk about this today because oftentimes when you go to spiritual centers or churches, we kind of glaze over Halloween, don't we? It's like, oh, that's something. And yet so many people really resonate with Halloween, the idea of dressing up. And so I don't know if you realize this, but originally this was a time where it was a sacred ritual. It was a signal that it was harvest time. It was the end of the season. So it was a transition from summer, from working and prosperity into a period of harvest and rejoicing. And what they did is they wore these masks for protection. So you would wear a scary mask because it was believed that this was the time when the spirit world came closest to the physical world. And so wear a mask to scare them away, keep them at a distance. Keep the spirit at a distance. And so it's interesting, isn't it, how this has remained important in our society, isn't it? You know, this whole idea of wearing a mask. And I was invited to a couple parties. I just went to a party this last weekend with a mask. And I'll tell you something that was really interesting. I was walking up the door, and there was a woman in front of me. And I teased her because she had a full frontal mask on. And I was like, oh, that's not safe. Safety alert. I said to her, that's not safe to wear a mask. And she stumbled on the steps to get up into this house. And I thought, this is not safe. And she laughed and she said, I know it is. And then we went into the party, and I kid you not, she was in that party for 15 minutes and next to me. And I didn't know who she was. And she took off her mask, and I realized it was someone that I knew very well. And I was like, oh, it's you. Right? I was like, it's you underneath that mask. So it was really funny. And she said, yeah, it's getting too hot. I can't wear that anymore. I said, exactly. So it is a time when we dress up with masks, and we wear masks to protect ourselves. So I wanted to show you another picture of my childhood and talk about this a little bit. So this was back in the day. This was back in the day when Mom made, or Dad, but Mom made your costumes, right? They weren't pre-boxed. This was before you went to Walmart and bought the set with the mask and everything. This was back in the day when you handmade your costumes, and my mother was very good at that. And as you can see, this is 2 different years in a row, and she actually made all these costumes, and they were handed down. And so on the far right is my sister again, my middle sister, and I'm that little devil. The little devil. And then over here is it the next year, and I want to show you that. So you got a pilgrim, we got a clown. The next year, that's my brother next to me, and he's wearing the pumpkin. And then that's me as a clown. So think about this. That costume literally went down the chain of command, right? My oldest sister had it, then my next sister had it, then my brother had it, and guess what? I got it. So I want to tell you a favorite story of mine to ease into this mask wearing is I had to wear that pumpkin the next year. But even better yet, it was a weird year. And we went trick-or-treating, and my brother was always responsible for me, and I would follow in his footsteps. And I had that big pumpkin on, and they stuffed paper and stuff down there. You know, it was stuffed full of old newspaper. And so you were big like this, and you could hardly walk. And as you can see, I wasn't that big. And so I'm walking. It snowed. So, do you ever notice how sometimes in your life you have these very clear memories of just a certain point? So I have a very vivid, clear memory of this snow falling and walking between these pine trees, and my brother was ahead, and I lost sight of him, and I stumbled, and it was a hill. Pumpkin, snow, hill. So you can imagine me rolling down the hill, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to turn into a huge snowball. And I rolled down the bottom of the hill, and I was disheveled. Of course, he came and saved me. But there I was in this big pumpkin costume with snow all over me. But what I wanted to talk about, this concept that's really kind of interesting, and something I want to explore today, is we all wear masks. And what's interesting is noting something here. I want you to realize that a lot of the masks that you wear, we all choose to wear, they're handed down. They're handed down, right? So it's something, and oftentimes it's handed down from your siblings, or your parents, or your grandparents, or generations, right? This is what we call consciousness of the society. It's handed down. Belief systems are handed down to us. The way we guard ourselves, what we think will protect us, it's all handed down. And so what's really interesting is you learn that. And oftentimes you'll share the same mask that your sister does or your brother does. Why do we choose to wear masks? It's the same reason that this whole holiday was founded on. We want to keep people at a distance. We want to keep them far from us. And so we learn from our mother that if you have I'll personalize it. I learned from my mother that if I was sarcastic, it would protect me. And so I would wear this mask of sarcasm. And for years, in fact, I'm going to be honest with you here, but right up until about 5 years ago, doing my spiritual growth, did I realize that this was not serving me anymore. Oftentimes we get to a point where we realize that masks don't serve us. But I'm sarcastic. I'm like, nice shirt. Hey, I love your hair. If you were, I got so used to that. So I inherited it from my mother. Now, from my father's side, because we inherit from both sides, right? From my father's side, I inherited perfectionism. That man would walk in here, and when I say that man, he's here now, because I have it, where I literally walk in and analyze everything aesthetically. He was an artist, so everything was aesthetic. Well, and I'll tell you, I'm going to fess up here. The first time I came in here, I looked at these walls and I thought, they should have painted them a peach color. What were they thinking? You got these big glass. So always trying to, that is a mask though. It's a mask that takes us from being present to who we are, to stepping into God, to being real, right? Into being protected. And I'll tell you, it's constantly, I went to that party, and I remember having a conversation with someone that's in this room, and I was like, why is there no music playing? Where's the music? This is a party. It's that sense of always trying to make things better. And so that can be a trap when we fall into a mask. So I want to invite you for a minute to look at the many different masks that we wear. And I hope you can see this. Can most of you see it? I want you to look at this because I guarantee you your eyes are going to go where? Where do your eyes go first? It's going to go to what is a reflection of you. And so that's a good one, gesture. And it says up there, there's always a good thing, right? There's a good thing to be a perfectionist. There's a good thing to knowing how to make things beautiful. There's a good thing to knowing how to have a perfect landscaped yard and a pretty house. But there's also a negative side. The same with the jester. They're fun and original. Everybody likes to be around a jester, right? They're fun. They make you laugh. But there's also underneath, I don't know if you can see that, there's the dark side of every issue. So you have fun and original, but you can also be cruel because sometimes they might go over the line. My perfectionism might take me away from the present of where I'm at. So if you see these, just take a minute. I want to give you a minute to see, have you found yours? Raise your hand if you found who you think the mask that you sometimes wear. I'll say sometimes wear. How's that?
What if you have more than one?
We all do. That's a good question. What if we have more than one? We all have more than one mask. And you know what? It depends on the situation you're in. If you're with family, you might put on this mask. And then if you go with friends, in a relationship, you might put another mask on, right? So we all have a mask that we put on to protect ourselves, whether it's a ruler or the innocent or a jester or a hero. How many people do you know, there's someone in your life that they're a hero, right? Have you ever had that friend that you call them up and you just want someone to listen and they start telling you how to fix it? I would do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Really, you just want to be present. They should just be present for you. But the hero wants to fix it. They want to be the hero. So this can be a trap for us, and we all do it. And I guess what I want to point out here is this is not a shaming service. I'm not shaming you. I'm asking you to recognize, and that's the key to presence, to recognize what you might fall into when you wear a mask. What are you using to protect yourself from the evil spirits? So now when you go out into this week, you can sit there and when you do it. So now I had to really consciously practice this, that perfectionism. Because I would invite my family over for a party, and immediately they had an issue. It was there's another mask that my family wears, and it's the and I don't know if it's up there. It's kind of like the victim, right? Always, can you believe what the government's doing? And look at this, and they raised my taxes. And did you see my water bill? And rah, 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 rah. And so I would invite them over for Christmas, and I'm standing in the room. When I started practicing presence, when I started practicing what I'm going to share with you now is about being in love, being in the state of love, as Ernest Holmes says. I just started coming into a family environment. This is a real challenge for you. And just sit there and watch them. And suddenly my cousin came in and she's bitching about the political election. And then my mother comes in and she's bitching about her water bill. And then my sister comes in and she's bitching. And I'm like, oh my God, victim, 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 victim. But I just stood there and I just noticed it. I have two choices. You have two choices. Do you wear the mask? Do you jump in? Do you jump in and say the same well, yeah, you're right. The government's really horrible. Or do you just step into what? What am I going to ask you to step into? Love. We step into love. So you might think, oh my gosh, here goes CJ. He's going to tell us who we are, and then he's going to say, okay, be aware and only practice the good things of your mask. Right? I want you to go out there and be the good stuff, but not the bad stuff. Right? But no, I'm not going to tell you that. In fact, there's just one word, one answer to the whole thing. Love. Just step into love. So you go back into that room and my family's around me and they're all, bringing in the dip and complaining about the weather and all I did is be love. Be love. Just stand there. Oh, yeah. You don't have to agree with them. I hear you. I hear you. Step out of the need to wear a mask and just be in that place of love. And that's why I think I was so attracted, even though the walls aren't pink, to this church. Because it's the church of one love. One love brings us all together. And so when we practice that, everywhere we go, it's scary. So I was listening, Kate, it's just a beautiful song. And I get verklempt, she's singing those lyrics. And I think what I wanted to share with you, it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to be real, isn't it? I was sitting here thinking a lot of things while she was singing that song and being moved by it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm leading a service in a church. And oh my God, who is this guy? Who is this guy? How did I get here? And I hear this voice, and the voice is saying, you're being real, Chris. You're being real. And it's a scary, scary place. It is. So I want to encourage you to just step into just let it be scary. Because when you are in the place of love, all the universe, as Ernest Holmes says, all of spirit, all of God, all of the creative intelligence that's out there comes right through you. You are like a divining rod. And when you are in love, the answers come to you. When you are in love, solutions come to you. When you're in love, you can actually still love your mother who's bitching about the politics. And you can be what she needs you to be. Love. That's all she wants. That's all we want, right? So that's the secret. One word, just step into love. Step into love, and feel it. Be present. And when you're there, you don't have to worry about all these things. It's good to recognize it. Eckhart Tolle would say, be the watcher. Oh, isn't it interesting? And I have several of these. Obviously, the creator, isn't that funny? I just talked about this, right? So the creator, imaginative, underside, perfectionist. And as an art maker, I have learned that when I make art, I have to turn that perfectionist mind off. I step into love. I step in front of the easel, and I feel the colors, and I turn off judgment, criticism, perfectionism. I step into God. I step into spirit. That's why I call it the spiritual artist. I step into that place. So all the answers for all of these are you. But we all have several of these. I think caregiver I fall under, citizen, where citizen is we're very aware of fairness, right? We're watching this election and I'm aware of what's fair and what's not fair, but we can easily fall into righteousness, right? It's easy. It's so easy. Really easy. But what we do is when we feel that happening, that's all I'm going to tell you. That's the lesson for today. When you feel that you're stepping into righteousness, just do what? Turn toward love and go, oh, I will send love to that TikTok post. I will send love to whoever wrote it. I will know that they're operating with their own masks that have been handed down to them from their family, from society, rules that they've been told, things that they've told they have to be. They're not who they are because their true essence is love. All of our true essence is love. And so it's a great tool to use, but don't get caught in it. Just look at it and go, oh, there I am again being the victim. There I am being sarcastic. There I am I need to step into love. I need to trust that spirit, God, creative intelligence, divine intelligence, all that is, has got me. It's got me. So I wanted to share this wonderful little poem that a friend of mine wrote, and I just love it. It's very short. It's called Fully Surrendered by Willeen Dunn. The brooks, rivers, and streams say, follow me. In the flow, let go and be free. Nothing but rocks, waterfalls, and tumultuous terrains. I'm in the wrong place, I exclaim. Follow me, I hear again. Clinging to a rock, I'm at my wit's end. You've only just begun. Stay with me, bathe with me here. Let go of the rock where you think you are safe, where the water beats against you and tests your faith. Faith is in the letting go. Follow me in the river's flow. That's all you do is you just step into it. Right? And I thought that was such a beautiful poem. I wanted to share it with you. When we do that, when we step into that, creativity, ideas, guidance, all comes right to us. So let's do I want to do a little meditation here now and ask you to go within. Take a deep breath in and out. Feeling the presence of this space, feeling this room around you, knowing that you are grounded in love, that you are real, that there is no one else quite individualized and expressive as you, and yet you are part of all that is. Breathe in that space of knowing that you are grounded and you can give up and let go of any fears, any sense of control, and any mask. So picture yourself knowing the mask that you wear. Put your arms behind you and pull that mask off and say, I'm going to step out. I'm going to step out into the vulnerability of who I am. I'm going to trust. I'm going to stand in faith, knowing that divine intelligence, the power that all that is in me right now, in this moment. The divine intelligence is within me right now, in this moment. I am supported by all that is. I am part of all that is. I am guided. I let go. I let the stream take me on a new journey. The mask is left on the shore. I have no need for masks anymore. And if I see someone wearing a mask, I show them my love. I turn toward love. I am real when I stand in love. Just let that wash over you. It's those waves of that creek are flowing by you, and you feel the tickle of the water, and you know that there is a movement and a place and a right action behind all things, and it is guiding you safely to the shore. I need no masks. I need no fear. I know that all that I have, all that I am, is present now and will always take care of me and guide me. And I truly breathe in the space of this room, the space of the hearts in this room, the space of spirit in this room. The space of God is in me. And so it is. Thank you.